Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. So, in front of me you can see something that's a little bit different. And as you would know from watching my channel, I really enjoy different Thomas & Friends items. And this one is one where I have to give a shout out to the commenter who actually drew my attention to this, although it did take a bit of a conversation to work out what they were talking about. I saw these on Instagram some months ago, and I know that everyone was unsure what they were. They were like, oh, it's a new product line. No one could tell me what it was. And then I was alerted to me in the comments of another video that these were the Diapet character lines, and that they were being released, you know, about 3 weeks ago. And so, in a purchase which I probably shouldn't have made, but I did anyway, I purchased the complete current set of these engines, and so we're going to be taking a look at them on my channel. So what are we waiting for? Let's check it out. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at the packaging. You can see here, it's obviously a Japanese toy, so there's a lot of Japanese writing, but you've got this really nice picture of Thomas there. You can see him quite well through the box, character collection, high quality series, some numbers there. That's his product number, Diapet logo in the corner, Thomas & Friends. I really love when they do this. You can see the clear window, so you can kind of get an idea what his face looks like. You can come around to the back, you can see the other engines in the range. There's a Hero and a Birdie coming, and I will buy those when they come out, but they don't come out till September, so I will purchase them then. You can see, there you go, they're the 3 other characters, and I bought all of those, so they'll be coming soon. There's all of this. If you want to translate it with Google Translate or something, pause the video and check it out. You can see the features here, which are listed. You can see a picture of Thomas there, coupling system, picture of the back, and that he has some kind of piston function integrated there. You can see a nice little photo of him on the side, and then all the licensing, blah, 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 on there. Okay, so let's crack him open and take a look at the toy. Alright, so here he is out of his packaging, the Diapet Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm going to do a quick little 360 view before we start talking about the details. Alright then, so firstly, onto that face. Let's take a look. I actually really like this face because it's definitely a CGI Thomas face, but it's a bit different to the normal. He's smiling, but he's kind of thoughtful smiling. Like he's smiling like he's about to say something, or he's thinking about something that makes him happy rather than laughing at a joke. And I really like that. I think it's a refreshing change to get a happy Thomas face that's not a big grinny smile, for example, like the one you have on Thomas Wood, which is like, eh. So I really quite like this one. I think it's quite natural, and it works for all situations, so that's really nice. Taking a look at the front, you can see he's got the black printing there. The little lamp irons are there. They're a bit shorter than they should be, but that's fine. You've got the lamp there, molded. You've got the white paint along the running board. He's got buffers. Now they are red for most of it and just painted black on the ends rather than being the whole black end being black, but that's more detail than we get in most Thomas toys these days, and it's pretty good. You can see he's got a coupling on the front. I'm unsure if this is like a coupling system that all of these style of toys use, but it's definitely one that all these Thomas the Tank Engine series use, and you can see it looks very much like an N-gauge kind of coupler, which I think is quite interesting. From around the side, you can see he's got, you know, printing on the side, the red lines, you know, the number 1, yellow around the cab, the black is filled in on the cab. It's not hollow, there's something black there. You can see you've got the little lines there. You've got some molded coal detail, which I actually really like. Often they make it very textured, so it's like little granular details, but this is actually kind of looks like it's kind of looks like it's melted or something, and it's obviously on purpose, but I quite like that detailing. I think it looks quite interesting. Looks a bit more realistic, I actually think, than the little grains do sometimes. You can see you've even got the little windows, and they're actually molded in, those little windows at the back there. All important, the lamp on the back, excellent work, along with the buffers and the little coupling. Coming on the other side, it's the same. Coming onto the top, we've got the water caps there, which is nice. Obviously a dome. There you go. We've got the whistles. Not only are they relief, like 3D, they are also printed, which I think is excellent. So, yep, there's a lot of good stuff. This Thomas is ticking a lot of boxes. Come down to the side, you can see you've got 6 little wheels, and we do have coupling rods, and yes, they do move. You can see there's a clear piece on the bottom, and that's because if we turn him over, here you can see the feature that we're talking about on the box. You can see everything inside there moving as I move him along. So you can see all of that motion, which I think is actually really cool. It's quite mesmerizing to watch. They're only little plastic connectors. I'm just trying to get a side view, but they do look quite cool. And it's really nice to see a Thomas with actual working connecting rods. As you can see, you know, when he chuffs along, they move and they actually chuff backwards and forwards, well, up and down as he moves along, which I think is really, really nice. So that's what he looks like. Let's do some comparisons now to some other toys. So here's the Diapet Thomas lined up next to some other current-ish Thomas items. Obviously there's a question mark about this one. I will talk about that in a video coming soon. And then the Minis Thomas, as you can see, quite different, very different aesthetics. They're all obviously Thomas the Tank Engine, but I can tell you right now which one I would really like to have, and it's not these two. So yeah, you get an idea of the size. I actually thought it was going to be bigger, more like the you know, the special edition Thomas we got for the 70th anniversary a couple of years ago, but we haven't got one that big, although it does remind me a lot of that. And the reason is because I read this was resin. It kind of feels like it's made of metal, like it's quite heavy for a toy, much heavier than Thomas wood, and any other toy, so it feels like it's kind of maybe got a counterweight in there. I'm not sure what it's made of, what resin means, but yeah, it feels very hefty when you hold it, which I think is quite a nice, it's got a really nice in-hand feel. You pick it up and you're like, ooh, this isn't just a toy, this is a model, which I think is really quite nice. So that's what he looks like there in comparison to other engines. Now I just want to talk about a couple of little things that I don't really like. So the first thing about this, I think, is that his face, I think, is a little bit too either high or too small. I'm not totally sure. From the side, it looks kind of like his face and his boiler is just a teeny bit too small, and you can nearly see it. See how the black part of his smoke box doesn't quite line up with his boiler? Makes me think his face should just be a tiny bit larger, maybe 5% bigger, because it does feel a little bit small for the rest of his body. The other thing I don't like is that even though it's got the coupling rods, and they're obviously a bit oversized so they can function, which I think is fine, for such a high quality model, he has the wheels aren't spoked, like they're just solid, and secondly, there's no printing on them. I think it would have been good if they printed between the spokes some black, which is what they did with the big, large Thomas, in order to make the wheels look a little less flat. I think the wheels on this are definitely the weakest part in terms of detail-wise, because they are just kind of flat, and they don't look like they have a lot of depth to them, even though they have actually molded in the spokes of the wheels. So I think had they printed that, it would have been nice. The last thing I don't super like is as you can see, he has a black undercarriage, and then it also goes right down to here in order to have this clear mechanism. So while I think this mechanism is cool, it is a collector's model. So I don't really know how many collectors are going to be turning it upside down to see the piston action, which just means that he has a very low undercarriage. So I appreciate they made it clear, because it means it's not as obtrusive. When you look at Thomas like this, for example, it doesn't look like, it's not like all black, but it does just mean that the undercarriage of him is quite low, and is lower than it should be for him to be accurate. So I think, yeah, the entire undercarriage really of this engine could have done a bit more detailing, because I don't think it quite matches the high quality, very nice detail, very nicely scaled top half of the engine. So that's my couple of improvements there. So I guess now it's, what do I think of this toy? I think this is an excellent Thomas model. It's really, really nice. If you're a Thomas collector, this is one I think will really add to your collection. It's a really nice model. It has all the right Thomas details on it, plus some extra ones you don't always expect, like the lamp on the back, like the moving piston effect, which I think is really nice. I think the problem with this is that it seems like it's trying to be both a toy and a model at the same time. And the reason I think that's a problem is because for me to import this to Australia, which I wanted to use, it would have been a lot cheaper if I could use Amazon, but now the Amazon has blocked Australia from using anything except the Amazon Australia website, so I couldn't get access to Amazon Japan to get this from Amazon, so I had to use another website. This Thomas cost me 50 Australian dollars. 50 Australian dollars is quite a lot, particularly when, as you can see, he is bigger than Thomas would, but not that much bigger. And this is just kind of a bit of a model. So I think for the price, they could have done, this needs to be better and more nicely detailed. So he is a proper scale model. Because I think the problem is that for me, and the way this is presented, it's like a model, but it still has too many features that are toy-like that I do think detract from the design. And I think what's happened is, yeah, the bottom half of him is a toy and the top half is a model. And I think, unfortunately, you know, trains have wheels. That's part of the magic, and, you know, the pistons and everything. So I think they could have done, firstly, they should have printed the wheels inside here. But secondly, I think while this is a fun gimmick, I think it would have been better if they just left this off, kept the piston as it was, and had those wheels printed. And I think it would have been a much nicer looking Thomas to have as a model. But hey, they're just my thoughts. Let me know what you think of this engine. I'd be really curious to find out if you like it as much as I do. Again, thanks for letting me know that this was a thing. I really appreciate getting told new Thomas merchandise, and I definitely don't regret buying this one. So, get in the comments, let me know what you think. Otherwise, that's all I've got time for. This is Extreme Trains.